It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Good evening, everyone. Well, big news today with the Arber out, Adam in. Bit of a surprise. I didn't figure he was going to get the Del Gaizo treatment and he'd play at some point on this road trip. But Adam Engstrom, especially after the Canadiens winning so decisively against Toronto, usually you don't make a lineup change, and I thought Arber played one of his better games of the year, and actually he's been pretty good lately. But there's a few possibilities with this. The first one that brings to mind is, hey, all these scouts were in Laval, Nashville scout all this. Are they being asked, hey, showcase this? We want to see this kid in NHL action. How does he look? There's that possibility. There's also the possibility that the Canadiens are looking to trade someone else, and they want to see how Engstrom looks first, right? Like it could be Arber that's being dangled, or Struble, or even Gooley. It's a possibility that Gooley is even, but I mean that's less likely, right? There's also just the plain fact that they think that right now Adam Engstrom can be the six, one of the top six defensemen on the team. So it'll be interesting to see how, if anything else transpires on this road trip. But Utah's not I wouldn't call them a tough team. So if you were going to get them into action in the 3 games, certainly out of the 3, that Utah would be the team that I would pick for them to have a look at him. But again, little surprised to Arber after the way he had played, that he's taken out of the lineup. You almost wonder, is his brother a little bit at fault for it? Right? He comes in, he wins a fight. Arber lost his last couple, and they think, oh, well, maybe we've got enough toughness in the lineup without Arber. So can he blame his little brother a little bit? Anyway, there's a lot of different angles to it, and I'll bring in the lads here. Mr. Rick Springhetti and Mr. Blain Potvin. Lads, how's it going?
I'm great, Grant. How are you guys?
I'm good. Rick is the chief scout for Recruits HabsCast. I don't know if I can recruit Blain to be his sidekick, assistant, director of scouting. But he wears about 6 hats as it is. There, he's
just one right now.
Yeah, he's on top of being one of the finest naval officers in Canada. He's a great writer for the hockey writers. He's he's got his own podcast, the Habs Unfiltered. Make sure to tune in and watch that when mine's not, when ours isn't on. And anyway, that's, I could keep going on there, but that's enough. That's enough accolades. That's enough accolades for Blain. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having me again.
We'll start with you, Blain. What do you think of? I know the other day we were both speculating that we thought it might be Colorado game that he played in, but they're throwing his feet in the fire right off the bat here.
Well, I mean, like you had mentioned in the intro, Utah's a fast team as well. I just, like on the last show, my assumption was he wouldn't mess with a winning lineup, but he did. So it makes sense in a way. It's a little bit different of an MO for St. Louis to make a change like that after a win, but I mean, he's still he made that promise that he was going to work on giving ice time, more ice time to people that earned it or deserve it, or so maybe he just sees this as a well-earned call-up that deserves to play right away.
Okay, Rick, what do you think? Well, I'm going a little bit towards what you were saying before, Grant, about, there's not saying a trade is coming in the next week, but I think there's discussions going on, and I think the Habs want to know what they have with him. They want to show the rest of the NHL what they have, and it might not be Engstrom, it might be somebody else, or it might be somebody else, and they want to see what Engstrom does. And I think part of the problem too is let's not forget the next two games are versus two juggernauts were kind of really good teams with Vegas and Colorado, and you may not want to throw them to the wolves that fast against those teams because Mandel, especially when you're on the road, because you can't shelter him as much, right? That becomes a bit of an issue. So I think with Utah is that you could protect him a little better, give him a first step, see how he does. The question about Xhekaj versus Struble was interesting to me, and I kept going back and forth about that, and I wasn't sure what the reasoning is, and especially that Xhekaj did play really well last game, and you take out a player that does well, I don't know, but I think at the end of the day, it comes down to two things: is that Marty St. Louis, I think, ultimately trusts Struble a little bit more defensively, but also you don't know how Engstrom's going to react to the NHL game. If you have to cut down a little bit of it on his minutes, well, I don't think he's comfortable having Xhekaj play 19 to 20 minutes, right? I think with Struble, he's a little bit more comfortable with that because of the way he plays and his skating. So I think it made sense in that optic to go with that.
Right. Well, and the fact that he's paired with Hudson usually, right? And those two can play. Those two can play 18 minutes, and you're probably not going to get too hurt by it. I wonder, Struble read the tea leaves there. Said, "Okay, I'm going to challenge. I'm going to challenge this Zadorov guy to a scrap, and if they can, I got to show these guys that I can, Arber doesn't have to be in the lineup. I can be the guy that protects that. So that's interesting too. Like if he doesn't challenge the Zadorov to that fight, is Adam Engstrom in the lineup and Arber out of the lineup tonight?
That's a good point. That's something to question too. Maybe.
What do you think, Blaine?
That probably does play into the decision a little bit, but I don't think it's as much of a weight or as much percentage of the decision that
right, because Utah doesn't really have a fighting squad anyways, right? They don't. Is O'Brien even playing tonight? I didn't check to see, but he's played 8 games so far this year, and he's really the only guy that is noted for his scrapping. I think you're right. Lawson Krauts is tough.
Sorry, O'Brien is. I just have the lineup here, and O'Brien is not playing.
Yeah, well, there you go. They don't really.
Well, whether he was or wasn't, I think the entire point of having Florian up in this for this game anyway is to just bring some energy and physicality, not necessarily chuck the knuckles. So I don't know how much the fighting would play into it, but I think it all falls down to the mobility and the speed. They want to be able to keep up. They want to beat these guys with speed, and Engstrom brings more of that than Xhekaj.
Well, Utah's a pretty skilled team, and they've got some fast players, right? So I mean that's what it boils down to a certain degree. I also think that they're trying to make a deal, and that factors in as well. Engstrom's been playing really well, and he deserves a look. There's that there's several factors here, I think, involved. It's not just, you can't just signal out one particular reason, right? But the fact that I also think, ideally they'd like to have him playing against Colorado, who is maybe the fastest team in the league. And this way, they're not throwing him right to the fire. They're giving him, the Utah game to see if he can handle it. And if he does fairly well tonight, I don't know if he'll be in against Vegas. Maybe they play Arber and the back-to-back thing too, right? And then come back with Engstrom again against Colorado to help handle that speed.
Yeah, I still think he's gonna come in for Colorado. I mean, nothing's changing that. The only difference now is it's not the first game he goes into, as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I know everyone's talking about, he's being showcased, blah 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 blah. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I do think they are assessing him. They need to know where he is. They're always collecting that kind of data, where they think everybody is, how they would fit in the future. But if you look at the way the blue line's set up, how many puck movers and mobile defensemen do they already have? How many physical, punishing defensemen do they have? Like, there's got to be a mix in there. It can't all be the same guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I
And
want
that's
to bring
why,
in another. Sorry, I want to bring in another like scenario. Maybe a bit unlikely. I agree. I'm not saying it, but maybe. What happens if the discussions between the Habs and Matheson is not going great? What happens if he's asking for more than Montreal could afford? Nothing against, he's worth it. Not saying it's nothing against that, but if he wants $9 million, then Montreal have to reassess that maybe, and maybe that's another way of saying, well, we're gonna have another puck moving guy to take over somebody who we love, we want to keep, but we just can't afford. Maybe that's something to consider.
I think so.
That was the other, when I said they could be looking to trade Xhekaj, Struble, Engstrom, but I have written down here, or even Matheson. So yeah, that thought had crossed my mind that's the other possibility, right? So, I mean, you're kind of crazy, Rick, but not completely like that. No, that is another underlying factor. I also wonder, Engstrom has played a fair bit on the right side. There's always, if they end up going with these 6 guys for a while here, like if he does well and they go with 6 for a while, might they try putting Carrier with Hudson going back to the left side, and that being your top 4, because they're kind of the, they're the 4 guys that get relied on the most, right? Dobson and Matheson, Hudson and Carrier, and then the third pairing is Struble and Engstrom, with Engstrom playing on the right. It's a possibility too, right? That
absolutely, absolutely.
So it brings up different options here. I mean, Adam Engstrom is playing great. All he's done is improve. I mean, I loved him as a prospect 2 years ago. So it doesn't surprise me that he's knocking on the door. Not only knocking on the door, he's getting to play finally. So it's pretty neat. That's quite a nice draft class that they got there now. 2022. This is the 5th. Yeah. This would be the 5th player from that draft class. One other team, Chicago, has had 5 players from the 2022 draft class that have played games. Montreal will become the 2nd team. Mind you, Chicago had 3 first-round draft picks. Montreal had 2, and the other interesting thing is that one of those 2 is not one of the 5 that will have. Machar hasn't played an NHL game, and here we have, the 5th guy getting a look before Machar, who was a first-round pick. So just goes to show, you never know which guy. You can never predict which guys will end up becoming NHLers.
Yeah. It also goes to show that after 23, 24, 25, into the 2nd round, there's often not a huge gap between that, right? There's a lot of guys that are drafted even end of the 2nd round that a lot of teams might have end of the 1st round. It's normal. It becomes a sort of a organizational preference sometimes at that point. We didn't love the Machar pick, but I understood that it's fine. They went for a risk, but that's the importance again. Grant and Blaine, I'm sure you agree. It's the importance of just when you rebuild, having draft picks to pick
Lots of
from,
picks.
and being able to do stuff. If you're only limited to one pick in the first 2 rounds year after year, you're not going anywhere. It's just impossible.
I've taught you well, Rick. I've drummed you that into you, and that's why you're chief amateur scout of Recruits HabsCast now.
Not just my pretty face. Thank you.
No, that's right. And if Blaine would start listening to me a little more, maybe he could get on the staff too.
I don't have the access to the proper foundation for makeup. Before going on camera.
Yeah. I noticed that you're kind of in the dark a little bit tonight. Are you hiding?
I am totally hiding.
Okay, good.
Just you never know. Police might show up.
What do you think? What do you think, Gary? The Canadians. I was looking back at it. Between 2013 and 2022, Engstrom, that's 10 years of drafting. Engstrom will be the 37th player that the Canadians have played at least one game in the NHL. That's 3.7, an average of 3.7 per draft. That's pretty impressive.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
It really is. So the drafting, for the most part, for the past decade plus has been pretty decent. Mind you, there was one other year, 2018 or 19, that 5 guys played, but one of them was Cam Hillis, one game, and it was because they led the league in friggin' game injuries. I think they set a record that year, and even Cam Hillis got one game, so I don't really count that. This is really the first time since 2013 that the Habs will have 5 players, and I presume that Adam Engstrom is going to play more than one NHL game. They'll have 5 players with multiple, that played multiple games, like 10 plus, which is pretty impressive for any draft class.
Sure.
If you get 2 players who can play 100 games or more, that's a highly successful draft. And I think this draft class, 2022, I honestly think at least 4 will meet that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a really, really incredible job. You can make an outside argument for as many as 5. So I think that draft kind of sets the tone for the rebuild that Hughes has brought on. So the better this class does, the better the rebuild will be. For
sure. And I got to give a shout out to my regular on here, Pierre Gervais. He told me that hey, Engstrom's going to get called up. Engstrom's going to play. I said no, I don't think so. They need the toughness in there, blah blah blah. But you know what? I think Struble stepping up and showing that he can handle and that he's willing to fight and that he's a very capable fighter. And now Florian coming into the lineup. I hate to say it, but you might ultimately cost your brother a job on the Canadians.
It is possible. I mean, they do have a little bit more team toughness now than they did before, but I don't think it's a great idea to let go of Arber just yet. This team still needs a little bit more size, a little bit more grit and toughness. The issue with Arber is the foot pace. Is he able to keep the pace? Is he able to play with the foot speed? So if he can work on that, he can prove that. There's no need to move him unless some team shows up and says, hey, we'll finally give you that center, but you need to give us this guy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say out of town. I said out of a job, I think he can be the 7th guy for now. And when you need him, when there's injuries, you bring him in. Right. But then when Goulet comes back, then you have a decision to make for sure. If Engstrom's still in the picture here. So, I waver back and forth on Arber. Like you like to have him, and he's such a character guy too. He's just unbelievable character. I think he's beloved in the room. good leader, and tough, and will do whatever it is asked of him. So he's the kind of guy you want on the team. Now, if Engstrom comes in and plays as well as he's capable of playing, Arber might be out of a job for now. It's unfortunate, but that's the business of hockey, and hockey's changed too, right? It's gotten, there's less and less speed has become more important than being able to fight for the most part. If you can do both, great, but Arber's not the fastest afoot, and at the end of the day, Adam Engstrom is a terrific skater. So I get why he's getting a look. And the Canadians, man, what a mobile defense. What a mobile group that they're going to have on the ice tonight. Like that'll be the most mobile group of defensemen. Mind you, Gooley's the same too. Like right the seven guys. You're right. Yeah, when he's not hobbling around, but
yeah.
One thing about Arber, though, I find is that I'd like to see, and depending on what they decide to do with their defensemen, I think somebody we like is going to be moved at some point, just because there's too many of them right now, right? Between Matheson and Struble and Engstrom and Xhekaj, like somebody's going to go at some point, and Reinbacher coming up. The thing I like with Arber that I find is not when the game is really simple and straightforward, he does well. When he has to move around because the game picks up pace and then there's a quick cycle game, he struggles a lot. Now, interestingly enough, I think when the playoffs come and, mugging is allowed and slashing is allowed and basically anything is allowed, it's more of a simple, direct game generally. And I think he could handle that better. I would consider signing Arber to a, somewhat long-term deal as a seventh defenseman with a pretty good salary, a decent salary for a seventh defenseman. Because he'll accept that role. I think he'd like to stay here with his brother, accept that role. He won't cause you any problems. And again, he could really be helpful when the games are important. At the end of the year, if you have an injury, well, those tight, hard games, I think he does much better in those than he does earlier in the season when they're calling a lot more and the game is a lot more fast-paced.
Yeah. What do you think, Blain?
I think he's right. I mean, I'm agreeing with Rick. If you can get him to sign on and play a role, an affordable one. I mean, yeah, you can give him what people would call an overpayment for a seventh defenseman, but with the cap going up the way it is, like what's an overpayment for a 7th now? $2.5 million, which is a drop in the bucket for the cap in about 2 years' time. I don't think that'd be a big deal. So if you can get him to do that 3-4 years and Florian graduates full time, I think that would work out best for the Canadians.
Well, there is that too. Like it's kind of cool to have brothers play together. So, there are several factors that make me think, oh, I wouldn't want to lose Arber. But on the other hand, if there's a team that wants him in the lineup and offers, something very enticing, you're going to have to look at that too. Yeah. So I'm of two minds when it comes to Arber. I don't want to lose him, but at the same time, if he, if it ends up that it's, well, he's a seventh defenseman, and the right deal comes along, okay, yeah, he helps in the dressing room. Yeah, it's cool that his brother is probably going to be on the team too, but sayonara and good luck if that's the case, right? I mean, it is a business and all that, but yeah, I waver back and forth with Arber, but I do think Struble. Well, I mean, I've been saying it since training camp. I thought he was better in the exhibition season, and was a little surprised that Arber started the year with the team. But that looks to have flipped now. They prefer Struble at this point, and I think that's the right call. but also, Jaden's proved that he's not like Rick, not just another pretty face. He can really scrap too. So, and a better skater, a little more reliable than Arber. So, and he wins his fights this year. Arber,
Oh boy,
Well,
too bad.
he wins his fights. He does throw a lot of body checks. He can play physical, and he's got that chemistry with Hudson. That right there is the big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. All right, Rick. Listen, you said you probably got about a half hour. So, got any parting thoughts there for us before?
Oh, just excited about, interested about tonight's game. Wonder how Montreal is going to play this. I would hope that they really push the pace really hard versus Utah. I mean, they could afford to take penalties against Utah because I just looked at their stats since November 1st. They're under 4% on the power play. So, you could afford to take penalties and push the play once in a while. They're over 96% on the penalty kill, though. So, get those power plays because you're going to need them. They're starting 16 games in 28 days. This is going to be a very, very telling time, I think, in the next few weeks for Montreal to see what kind of team they are. And boy, am I looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So Engstrom, go out there and just pile drive people.
Just fly, baby.
Yeah.
Just fly.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I'll let you get
guys.
back to your makeup or whatever. And
listen, guys.
It's always a pleasure, and you're looking good. And you don't worry about the makeup, my friend. You look fantastic. Okay. Okay. Have a good night.
It's always nice talking to you.
Have a good night, Rick. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. And that's there. He didn't know how to click. I just removed him.
Kicked him out.
So yeah. Let's get to a couple of comments here. You can keep you got anything else to add about Rick or
about Rick? Oh.
Okay.
Great dresser.
Yeah. Let's see here. Get to a few comments. Ryan M 1854. I don't know if that was the year he was born or not. If it was, he's a Sage fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of having Arber come out. I think they should have played the next game before deciding something like that. Well,
sure.
You could look that could look like a real smart comment in a couple hours there, Ryan, or it could look silly. We'll know better by the end of the second period, I'd say. I think, Cooley, Genther, Keller, they've got some skill there, and it won't be easy. Like, they're not that far. I don't know what the standings are right now, but they're right in that group with Colorado and Vegas this year, anyways, too. I think, right? So
yeah, it's a few points difference between the teams.
Yeah, so they're not necessarily, the weak sister. It wouldn't have mattered which game Engstrom started against. It's not going to be easy on the road, Western trip, and all three teams have a load of skill.
Oh yeah.
Francois Bedard, it'll be fun watching Engstrom. Seems like Marty liked what he saw during the practice. Yeah, well, I was wondering about that too, right? Obviously, he's had a chance to practice some, and he probably impressed, right? I watched, saw him in preseason, but then watching him in Laval, just such a fluid skater. He's he is fun to watch. He'll be able to keep up with the NHL pace, no problem. I think, that
he's
way.
got a pretty good snapshot with a really fast release.
Yeah, and a decent. 4 apples the other day, and a couple of real nice ones too. He can, he can pass the puck as well. So, another offensive defenseman. I guess it's not the end of the world, right? I think something may be imminent, whether it's Engstrom or another defenseman being moved. for help up front. Well, you would think that could be the case, right? Have you heard anything on when Gooley's slated to be back?
Not until after Christmas.
Was he
I
skating?
think
I think he's
he
skating
was,
again.
and then he had surgery again.
Yeah. Oh, right. He's skating, and then, yeah. So, well, Engstrom, this is
Pretty wild.
Engstrom's chance. If he looks really good,
Yeah.
what do you do? I can't see them trading Arber after drafting his brother. Well, are they, did they keep the Kostitsins? They both
Exactly.
ended up going to Nashville, right? Yeah, I mean, brothers get traded. They play for each other. They get I
Sometimes they
know
fight each other when they play against each other.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's cool when you've got a couple of brothers playing together, but it's if somebody else is better than one of the brothers, then he'll be playing and the brother won't be playing. That's just the way it is.
It's great for PR, but not the hockey, the business side of hockey.
Well, yeah, you can't. Well, we're in last place, but we got brothers playing together.
Yeah.
Like that's not. Yeah.
What is this, Toronto?
Arber's being shopped. He has value. Could he be on a leash not to get hurt?
I mean, sure, it's possible, but I don't think that's the case at all.
Well, I think you want to keep Arber around, He's kind of like, like McDermott. All these years, he kind of like Colorado and this and that. You've got the guy that you can bring in when there's a tough game coming up. Arber's an undrafted in the OHL, undrafted in the NHL. He's just happy to be to have an NHL job, right? And he's got the right attitude, and I think he realizes that he's never going to be a star. So, yeah, he's a good guy to keep. And I kind of agree with the thinking that he's kind of like Rick was saying, that you hang on to him and keep him around as a 6'7", 8 defenseman, right?
Yeah.
Francois, with the ranking being so tight, I'd be surprised Montreal is showcasing Engstrom. If he plays, Marty must think Engstrom is an improvement. Yeah, I mean, we can speculate. That's one of the possibilities. It could be that they're that they're looking to trade one of these defensemen too, and they want to see what they've got with Engstrom. Whether it's Engstrom's that's the guy that's on the block or not. Again, it's all we're all speculating, and we can, but these are good, fast teams that they're up against the next 3 games, and I get that they want to bring in the most mobile defenseman that's not playing on the team and see how he looks. And I hopefully he looks great. That only ups his asset value. That only makes it more likely that if the Canadians are looking to trade one of the defensemen, that they're more comfortable with doing it if Engstrom looks good and it's not him that's being shopped.
And more teams are coming out saying that they're open for business. They're looking to make deals, like Vancouver or Nashville. So teams that do have some centers, but would want someone that can step into an NHL job right away. That is the kind of player that they would probably ask for.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good to have Sheldon back. Yeah. Hudson and Carrier aren't the biggest pairing. That's true. But they both play. They don't both, it's not like they play like 5'9", defenseman either, right? Yeah, it's not the biggest pairing, but I don't. Neither. They're both very competitive and play bigger than they are, and I wouldn't have an issue with them being paired if if need be. But true, I'm not going to argue the fact that it's not a big pairing, and that's it. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that that might be something that down the road, especially if Struble and Engstrom, he's not comfortable with playing them 15 plus minutes a game, then pair your top 4 defensemen that get the most ice time in 2 pairings, and
Sure.
and have the young guys, the guys that don't play as much as your third pairing, and play them a little less.
Even though they're that would be a smaller pairing. You look at the top 6 on the Utah side. I mean, other than Dylan Gunther, really, they don't have a ton of size up there, or guys
No,
that play really physical. So
yeah,
it's not going to hurt you in this game.
yeah. I don't know that he's talking about just this game, or like I'm just thinking in the future,
Yeah,
But
down the
yeah,
road, sure.
there are certain teams that it might be a problem having those two. But
Vegas.
then there's also teams, and Utah would be one of them, where you could say, oh, well, why don't we have those pairings? But I don't think they're going to. Engstrom would have to be established before they start throwing him on the right side, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't do it with Hudson right away either. You don't just take a rookie defenseman and say, okay, not only are we throwing you in the fire, but we're also going to put you on the wrong side. Good luck,
Yeah.
Somebody was asking if I'm doing a post game tonight. Midnight? I don't know. Weigh in, guys. If about if 50 people say yeah, I'll tune in, maybe it'd be
You
off
guys have
it'll be-
fun. It's more like 1 a.m. for me, so I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm not doing it with Blain. And it'd be on the couch too. I don't know. You guys want to see me on the couch or not?
HabsCast.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be a couch cast if I do. We'll see. I might do an intermission too. I don't know. Hope Engstrom does well. Oh, this is a new name. Nicholas Lund. Hope might be might be in Europe. Hope Engstrom does well. Finally, he gets his chance. Trading an elite skating young D who plays both sides is going to be a major mistake. Yeah.
He may not be the one they deal out.
Yeah, hopefully they don't.
Maybe.
Hopefully they don't trade Hudson. You're right. That would be a major mistake for sure. Thank you for your comment, Nicolas. Rick, you're a good sport. Yes, he is. Will Machar ever play in the NHL?
Maybe.
I'm not writing him off yet, but right now, if today, I'd say the odds don't look good. Habs have 6 rookies playing tonight. That's a lot.
It is.
Hey, that's a good point, eh? Yeah. Cappy, Demidov, Dobish, Xhekaj, Engstrom, and who?
Oh,
Davidson.
yes.
Davidson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they gotta get experience somewhere.
Yeah. No, I don't mind that. And yes, Pierre, I realized that I said Gervais and it's Gingras, Gaston's cousin, Pierre Gingras. Sorry about that, my friend. Elvis X. So, will the Habs claim Sammy Blais? I got asked this the other day too. Is this Elvis? Was it you asking me the other day too? I mean, who else? There can't be that many people that are going to keep asking that question. And the answer is no. They got rid of him, They got rid of him in the preseason. Why would they? I can't see them claiming Sammy Blais. Can you see them doing that?
I don't think so. Not unless
No.
3 more guys get hurt tonight.
Well, I mean, Florian came in and, he looked fine. One of the reasons that he lost his job was because I think they were so happy with Florian in the preseason that they said, well, if we do need another energy guy down the road, we'll call up Florian. Bye-bye, Sammy. It was nice knowing you. Nobody has a concern with Struble.
Not really.
Is that the question, or because there's a period at the end of it there, Magnum? I'm assuming that that's a question. Yeah, sure. There's a little concern with Struble, but he's played well this year so far, and if there's a problem with Struble, then they've got Engstrom. All
I think
good.
the only problem with Struble is experience. The more he gets, the better he plays. So
yeah. Don't forget too, he missed a lot of time in college. He didn't play that many games. He's
he got hurt a
still
couple times.
He had a groin injury that prevented him from playing a lot of games. So he's really not that experienced. And considering that, he looks pretty good. If it's not Crosby, Forsberg, geez, I've seen so many different spellings of Forsberg. Forestberg, somebody was saying the other night, but I think I know who they mean. Or McTavish to the Habs, and stick with what you got. Still seeing McTavish's name there, eh? That one.
Yeah. After that, signing that deal, that'd be a pretty big surprise. But the sentiment, I get. I totally understand that sentiment. I don't think management is going to make a panic move. I don't think they're going to make a trade just for the sake of making a trade. They're looking long term. They've been looking long term the entire time. So why would they change their MO and do something different just now?
No, for sure. Listen, if you're watching this on X, and you want to chime in, join us on YouTube and join the live chat. And just like this fella here, Jules Spino 14. That's a new name. Glad you joined us there, Jules. I'm done with Arber. He's not growing as a player and showing poor decision making in games. Well, yeah, he's another.
Improving.
Well, I think so. He hasn't been as making as many mistakes I've found recently. I think his game has improved, and he's another guy that defensemen can take quite a while before they're ready, and especially bigger ones. And Arber's a big boy, and it can take a while for you to adjust to the speed of the NHL. And don't forget, he hasn't played every game either, right? He doesn't have a pile of games under his belt either, really. So I think that Arber has improved, and that there's still improvement to come with him. So I wouldn't necessarily write him off. I think his decision making has improved.
I think so.
I like Arber. Boogie Woogie. Hey, Boogie Woogie. I like Arber, but he's just not that good, and we're loaded at left side defense. Yeah, well, he's out of the lineup, so I guess he's not great. Not tonight, anyway.
He's
Sheldon
not playing
Hughes.
tonight, anyway.
That's right. Another Sheldon Hughes. Engstrom has improved his physical play immensely since he arrived. He will continue to get stronger physically as he matures. Yeah, I don't know if I would say that he's improved it immensely. I still wouldn't call him a physical player, but there have been
he doesn't shy away from it.
Yeah, there have been improvements in that regard, and I still think he needs to get stronger, and he will. He's not that old, so he's a decent defender. I don't mind his defensive game. or he wouldn't be playing. It's a chance to evaluate the toughness of the rest. I still think Arber should stay in lineup. I understand they must evaluate Engstrom before a trade of anybody. Thank you, Jacques. Yeah, well, there are a lot of different ways of looking at it. We saw old and slow with Toronto. We're young and speedy. Right on, Kevin. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Do I think Engstrom can help the PK?
I don't think he'll play PK. If he does, it's going to be
I don't think he's going to be on
a few seconds at a time.
Well, I mean, even Struble's a good penalty killer, and he's not even out there most of the time. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I think Struble will get the PK time that Arber sometimes got. But Arber did get some on the PK, and I suppose one of the two is going to have to take those minutes.
I don't think he'll get on the PK, but I think he'll get that mop-up time after a penalty.
Right.
When the other guys are just coming off.
Yeah.
So he'll get a little extra ice time that way.
Yeah, for sure. But I think Struble's the more likely to get a little bit of PK time, I think, at this point. Don't overdo it, I think just getting him a regular shift will be good enough to start. The Magnum, Arber is far more talent than Reeves could ever dream of. Far better skater as well. Yeah, well, not sure what I might have missed one. I'm not sure what that. I know we certainly weren't comparing him to Reeves, but depends on what his perceived value is on the market. If he's coveted by the right GM, then move him. Arber is the type of player that more than a few GMs would love to have. Yeah, well, that seems to be the main topic here, is talking about Arber, right? And hey, it's one game, and he's not like it's the first time he's sat at a game. He even went down to the AHL before, so he's a cusp guy on this team. Let's face it, especially when Gouli gets back. So it's just that's the way it is. MSL is a joke. Okay, JJ Evans. I guess that's an Arber fan. Arber wouldn't be on here and posting, would he? No, I don't think he'd say that.
No.
The pair together are more than the sum of both. They have leader attitude on the ice. Yes.
I think he means the two brothers.
Okay. Thank you, because I wasn't sure. Struble is great trade currency for a team like the Bruins. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Back to Rhode Island.
Unless you're giving Toronto's first round pick.
His uncle was a huge Bruins fan, Bobby Orr fan. He was telling me all about it, but yeah, I'm not trading Strubes to Boston. No way. Nobody in the league has a concern or even thinks of Struble. Oh, okay.
Okay.
My feeling is that a seventh defenseman has to be good, but not too good, or he'll ask a trade to play full time elsewhere. Arber is useful, appreciated, but not too good, and he may want to stay with his bro. There you go. Echoing our thoughts, kind of. So,
sort of, yeah.
So I can't disagree. Cheap shot. Grant Struble didn't face the same competition in the last two fights. Arber was at end of shift. What cheap shot? I didn't.
No, and about not winning his fights, I think, is what he's referencing.
Yeah, well, he didn't win his fights. It's not a cheap shot. That's just facts, my friend. Looking forward to seeing Engstrom. Would you consider him similar to Gouli style of player?
No.
Not really. No.
I mean, skating,
Good
they're
skaters.
both very good skaters, sure.
They're both about 6'2", 6'3". Other than that, not really similar. Does Arber scare any tough guys?
Yes.
Well, he scares Jacques Lachance anyways. Hey, Jacques? Casanova, looking forward to seeing Engstrom. Would you consider him similar to? Yeah, I guess I already asked that one. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Maybe he replaces Cartier. Enhancing Engstrom's value is very good business, no matter what happens, I would think. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to have to be jetting here.
Yeah, I saw you. They looked a little restless.
I got to be taken off.
Okay.
But I do want to sell something before I go. I'm going to be playing in the Rob Sneath Memorial Tournament tomorrow. So he's a veteran. He passed away. So for those who are looking for a holiday donation to a charity, Vets Canada is a great way to go. Look them up, vetscanada.ca. Donate to end homelessness for veterans. That's kind of what we're playing for here. Donate to cancer charities if you'd like. But yeah, that's what I'm selling today.
Where's this game in Halifax?
Yeah, it's going to be on the base.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. I wish I could play, but
Me too.
Too far. Yeah.
I'll be on the ice though.
All right, Blain. Thanks for this. And yeah, I should have asked you how long you had there. That's on me. But
no, that's fine.
Hey, hanging out for 50 minutes, that's great. So I'll just keep talking to some fans here for a bit, and always appreciate you coming on. Okay.
I always appreciate being invited. Thanks a lot, Greg.
And we'll see you
later, everyone.
Post game after the Colorado game. Is that, or no, the Vegas game?
Possibly. Yeah, one or the other. Well, we'll figure it all out.
I think it's Friday, right?
You'll have your people call my people.
Yeah, we'll do. If you're back from your big hockey game by then.
If I'm still alive after the 3 games in 7 hours, yeah.
Oh, really, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Get you in shape.
Rounds of shape.
Okay. Have a good one, Blain. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.
All right, take care.
Blain Potvin, folks. 2 great guys, Rick and Blain. Absolute gems, the 2 of them. I think Engstrom replaces Carrier eventually. Yeah. I think Reinbacher will replace Carrier eventually. Engstrom's probably going to be on the left, I would think, but you never know. I just hope they don't flip Engstrom and our 26 for a 34, 35-year-old guy. Yeah, well, I would trade for Ryan O'Reilly. We'll agree to disagree on that. I think the window's now. And as soon as the window's open, you jump through it. As of this year, the East is wide open. Montreal can win the East. They get a couple of the right pieces, and the goaltending gets straightened around. I mean, you saw that. You saw them against Toronto in the second period of that game. Yeah, Toronto's not great this year, but they were a 108-point team last year. They couldn't touch the puck. When this team's playing well and on its game, they can beat anybody in the East. They really can. And I think they should go for it starting this year. They've got all sorts of assets, all sorts of extra assets. All of these players aren't going to play. You know, and Adam Engstrom is a nice looking prospect, but you've got, if they do re-sign Matheson, and I'm 89% sure they are, you've still got Hudson, you still got Gooley, you still got Matheson, you still got Struble. He's expendable. He's a nice player, but a nice asset's going to get you a good player back. And that could be Struble that gets traded too. Who knows, you know? But they've got the assets. It's not going to hurt the team long term to trade a first round pick and a good prospect right now. It isn't, because they've got other options coming along, and the window is open now. And I think the Canadiens are going to make a trade. And I hope people don't lose their shit when it happens. I don't care if he's 34 or 35 years old. Like, if it's Ryan O'Reilly, he won the friggin' Conn Smythe Trophy. He knows how to win. You need veterans, you need experience, you need guys that have been there. I don't want this team to lose in the first round again, because then they're not learning how to win. They need to win a round at least in the playoffs this year, maybe two, maybe the East. There's not a single thing. There's no better way to develop young players than to have them go on a playoff run in the NHL. That's the absolute best way you can develop young players. And that's not going to happen unless they make a deal or two here. It's going to cost them a decent prospect, may cost them a first round pick. But you know what? They've got so many in the pipeline. Like Jarowski's coming, Hage is coming, Fowler's coming, Pickford down the line. Like, at the end of the day, I might like Pickford even more than Engstrom. So, Reinbacher. I didn't even mention Reinbacher. Like, there's a wealth of riches here. They aren't all going to play top 6 roles or top 4 roles. The numbers tell you that they won't. So when the time's right, when the right player comes along that can help you win, when Barkov's out and the East is wide open, you go for it starting now. I know it's hard to lose a prospect. It's hard to lose a first round pick. I'm the draftnik here. I'm the friggin' scout. I'm the guy that loves the draft. But I also think what I like even more is when the Canadiens win. Nobody thought that they'd make it to the Cup final, 4 years ago. That's the other thing too, right? There are, like, Caulfield and Suzuki have been there, right? They're on the first line. You get the right pieces, the veteran pieces like they had back then with Weber and Corey Perry and Sherratt and those guys. Like, you need that mix, right? They get the right pieces to go with these guys that have been there. Gallagher's been there too. Like, they went to the Cup final. Yeah, you've got the young guys, but you've also got the guys that have made it to a Cup final. The core. Well, fortify it. Go for it. I am fully on board with them making a trade. If it's Ryan O'Reilly, I don't care that he's 34 years old. I don't, because he's a hell of a hockey player and a hell of a leader, and he's exactly what they need. They need a left. They need a two-way, tough, penalty killing, good face-off guy, leader, tough, big. He checks off every box for what they need right now. So I would get O'Reilly. I really would. If it costs you Engstrom and a first, so be it. I know a lot of you don't agree with it, and that's fair. And I get the other side of it. I really do. But I also think that the window's open now, and I've seen too many teams blow that chance when the window's open. Well, no, they may not have a better chance 3 years from now than they've got this year to win the East. They may not. Maybe in 2-3 years, Florida is a juggernaut again. Barkov back and everything, and the Canadiens just can't. This is a prime opportunity this year to win a cup, or to at least make the final. And that would just do so much for all of these young players on this team. What did Pittsburgh do before they won the cup with that great young core? They went to the cup final the year before, right? What did the Oilers do before they won 4 cups? They went to the cup final, right? I mean, it's hard to beat that as far as molding a team, learning how learning what needs to be done to win. So, anyways, that's my take on trading a prospect. And if they didn't have the assets, I'd say no. Like, it's not like a Toronto where they had no young players in the last few years and they trade for Ryan O'Reilly anyway, right? With no draft picks and no good young talent coming up, and they do it anyway. Well, Montreal has that. So, these other teams do it anyway, even without the young talent. Well, when you do have that young talent and you have that opportunity, I think the Canadians, it's wide open. It's wide open this year. I would be surprised if they don't go for it. And they have it. They're as good a trading partner as anybody from Nashville or any of these teams that might be looking to trade one of their vets and pick up some good young assets. But like I say, I know a lot of people don't agree with that, and that's fine. It's just my opinion. Grant, heard you, Grant. Switch from YouTube to or from Twitter to YouTube. Good day, DBB 777. Thanks for making the switch, man. We're up to 827 people that have viewed this pregame, which is pretty cool. Blain cannot make the laughs. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Which defensive pairs play PK tonight? Well, Matheson and Dobson most of the time are right. I think Struble and Carrier would be the other pairing for most of the time. Oh, okay. We've got a few saying I'll watch. You guys. Sucker for punishment, eh? I'll watch. I will post on after game show. I will pass on. You will pass on after game show. Oh, I will pass on after game show. Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of late. Us old guys, I don't know. I just hope they don't flip Engstrom. Yeah, okay, that's where it got me started. All right, we're heading back the other way. Anyone watching the top prospects game? It was a great game yesterday. I'll be tuning in on that later. Tonight's Habs. This is HabsCast, so I have to watch the Habs game, but I will definitely catch the prospects game. I was a little disappointed with the game last night, actually. There weren't a lot of the forwards, especially, were a little disappointing for the most part. Really liked Carroll's Chase Reed's really good. Malhotra, the first two periods looked good. Couple of U.S. guys, a couple of defensemen, and their goalie were really good, but not a lot of forwards that were standing out. DBB, something surely brewing in Montreal as it's brewing across the league, but Engstrom is in the lineup for a reason, not only for his hot start in Laval. Yeah, well, don't want to have a look at him, right? Regarding a future D trade, I don't think they will want to split up the two Xhekaj brothers. It's special to have that. Yeah, maybe. I don't think Arber's the guy that's on the block necessarily. Captain and Engstrom in a package for a trade, and if so, yeah. Oh, they're not. I don't think they're trading Kapanen. You're just kind of shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic if you do that. Trade a center to get a center. Trade a 22. Yeah. Not Kapanen's too valuable right now. You don't see him going anywhere. If given the bottom D turns sitting to try Engstrom out, no problem. Overall, when playing tough teams in playoffs, then need him. Yeah. Mr. James, that's a good comment. I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. Matthew Preston will be good. Yeah, he scored a nice one. He can be in and out, but yeah. Yeah. Will Arber be traded? I don't know. We discussed that Roderick a fair bit earlier on the show. You might want to go back and have a look at it after. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to trade it. Kapanen. It'd make more sense to trade someone like Hage, because Kapanen over the next 3 years is helping you, and you don't know if that's the case with Hage. Might be 2-3 years away. Canadians are in win now mode. I don't see Kapanen. He's too valuable to the team right now. Doesn't make sense to trade him. Then you still need a center. People speak about getting rid of Arber, but Toronto podcasts have been filled with crying about getting wrecked by the Jacket brothers since Saturday. Just for that, I keep them. Yeah, there you go. It's funny, but Bergeron has a lot to do with this Habs team. True story. Yep, he does. So does Timmins. All right, I'll go on for a few more minutes here, folks. If it wasn't for Bergeron, this Habs team wouldn't be where it is now. Yeah, pretty much. Love your guests, Grant. Yeah, they're good guys. Thank you. I'm lucky to have them. And I agree with Jacques there. The window is wide open. Yes, it is. Montreal can win the East, but can finish dead last. Oh, wait. Buffalo will finish last. Yeah, well, yeah. It's possible. But I don't know. If you trade for O'Reilly, you get the goaltending straightened out one way or the other, if that means trading for one or calling one up, or these guys getting their game on track. Canadian, and then you get back Newhook, you get back Doc, you get back Gooley. Canadians have a hell of a team. They really do. I think the future is now for this team. How did O'Reilly work out for Toronto? Yeah. Ryan O'Reilly couldn't motivate Austin Matthews. I was talking to I had a couple of pints in the pub this afternoon, and talking to a big Toronto fan, and he said, O'Reilly was fine. He didn't blame him at all for what happened there. It takes more than one player to make a team, right? But and I'm seeing somebody saying I'm not an O'Reilly fan. The guy won a freaking Conn Smythe. Come on now. How can you not be a Ryan O'Reilly fan? Like, come seriously. He's exactly what the team needs. Like, exactly what the team needs. I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with anyone that doesn't like Ryan O'Reilly. Yeah, well, a 35-year-old. Yeah. Well, what if it was what if the 35-year-old was Sidney Crosby? Yeah, well. See, Simo, well, they're not doing that trade, so there's going to be people upset if they make the trade. I know that, but hey, be prepared. You're going to lose a good prospect and a high draft pick this year. I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen. You know, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. I mean, I look back, Ron Francis would never, he had this good young core. He had Aho and Cash, and like drafted him, and they had, Slavin and Pesci, all these good young defensemen. Just like a really good young promising team, and he wouldn't trade any of his young players, and held on to Julien Gauthier and Jake Bean and all that when they had value, and they could have made a deal to make themselves serious contenders, and he wouldn't do it, and they'd keep missing the playoffs by a few points, and finally it was just, well, you lost your job, right? Instead of him ever pulling the trigger and dealing some of these young high picks or whatever that they had made, that ultimately, Hayden Fleury, that ultimately didn't even pan out in Carolina. So you just, holding on to players and thinking, well, 3 years down the road, well, Carolina made the conference final the year after Francis left, but they got swept by Boston. If they had made a deal for like Ryan O'Reilly or whoever, the right, one or two more pieces, they could have won to the cup. They could have won the cup that year. So instead, I mean, and at that point, Netcat, all the Julien Gauthier, none of these guys were even on the team. They weren't helping. So, holding on to prospects forever and hoping that some, let's wait 2 or 3 years. Let's wait 2 or 3 years. Let's wait 2 or 3 years. And all of a sudden, that core, that promising core that you had gets older, and the window closes and it's done, like with Toronto, right? Losing in the first round year after year after year. I think when you have the opportunity, when you have the young assets and you're loaded, I don't think a team has more quality depth, quantity and quality of young players that Montreal has. They're not all going to play key roles. Get rid of some. Now, get the vets that you need, plug the holes, go for it. And I think that that's Gorton did it when he was in New York, right? Year 4 or 5, whatever it was. Okay, boom. Let's go for it now. And I'm pretty sure that's what the master plan is for the Canadians this year. Hey, Francois, thanks for the tuning, my friend. I appreciate it. You're a faithful contributor, and I always I always thank you. Thank you very much. Penelope Whiskey, that's a new name. Don't trade Engstrom. Struble may be traded. Thank you, Penelope. Yeah, or Penelope. Carolina might push hard for Raleigh for same reason as Montreal. I think they have some first round picks because of the Ratnan trade. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, what happened here? Sheldon. Oh, he said, I'll see your $2 and I'll raise you $3. Okay. Anybody else gonna? Hey, I'll see your 5 and rate. No, thanks, thanks, Sheldon. I appreciate that. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna. Midnight's just. I don't think I'm gonna do a midnight show tonight, guys. But I might do intermissions though. Can you tune in for intermissions if I come on? If the Canadians have a, Cappy scores a hat trick. Tell you what, if Cappy scores a hat trick, I'll come on after the game because I'll be too excited. I'll be up till 2:00 in the morning anyway. Okay, there's the caveat. Jacques Lachance, the experience O'Reilly brings, no price the meanest. You have it more, it rubs off in the younger ones. Well, there's that too. Okay, well, there's enough people agreeing with me. That's good. I like when there's folks that agree. Sheldon, are you going to have a pregame show tomorrow? No, because I don't think there's any games tomorrow, Sheldon. It's Thanksgiving, U.S. Thanksgiving. No games on the schedule tomorrow. But I am going to have a pregame show on Friday, I think. I'm certainly going to have a postgame show, but yeah, probably a pregame with Eric Macramella. He was away for, he was in Mexico. He just got back. But yeah, we'll be doing a pregame show, Eric and I, on Friday. So I hope you can tune in for that. What if Cappy has a goal and an assist? No. Got to be a hat trick. Or 2. If he scored, tell you what, if Cappy scores 2 or 3, I'll come on after the show. After thing is though, I'm not putting like I have to design something on Canva. I got to put it up. I got to there's my, there's if Cappy scores a hat trick, I'll come on after, but it won't be for long, and there'll be nobody tuning in because I won't have anything. I won't have anything up for promotion. Thrawn, good to see you. Of all the names rumored for a possible 2C for the Habs, who would be your preference to go get? Ryan O'Reilly. I wouldn't mind Braden Shen either, but O'Reilly, he's only $4.5 million too. Like the price is right. Conn Smythe, Cup champ, left center, experience, mean, big. I think that he's a good guy to have till you get another one of these young guys that come in and can take a top 3 center role to go along with Cappy, but Hage and Zurowski and Papanicus, and those guys they're at least 2 years away. So you get O'Reilly in that spot till he's ready. That would be my DYT. Grant, how long have you had such an awesome goatee? Long time. I think it was red. That's how long I've had it. When I started it, it was red. Oh boy. If the Habs trade for anybody, as long as they're hungry and want to win, that's the best thing for them, no matter what. If they win a cup already. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys for not getting too up in arms about my O'Reilly love. In-game face-off professor. So you trade like Engstrom and a first rounder for, yeah, something like that. I know it's a lot, but yeah. I mean, if Engstrom is a superstar tonight, then no, I'll change my mind. Tell you what, get back to me after tonight's game. How's that? After this road trip. Yeah, okay, Bontoon. It's a scam. Yeah, well, H and a first for Horvat. Yeah, the Islanders are. Yeah, the Islanders are in. They're not going to be out of the playoff race. I don't think it's so tight this year, and so they're not going to get rid of Horvat. I can't see that. I can't see that happening. He's not available. I'd be afraid. I mean, that'd be the guy, ideal guy, but he's not. Don't see him being available. So you got to go for the old guy, the 34-year-old. I just got a text from Paul the Greek. All these insiders saying that they're this and that, and then there's never any trade. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't get too excited about all the rumors, because the percentage of rumors to actual trades is about, I don't know, 1,000 to 1, something like that. The last cup run showed what a couple of talented vets can do for a young team. Montreal survived losing Romanov, Sergachev, moving a veteran D like Engstrom. Moving a better demon like Engstrom or Struble for a vet would not hurt. No, well, that's the thing, one more guy that's been there and done that, I don't think would hurt this group. Mentorship is so important, right? Yeah, Matheson is a good mentor, Galley, Evans, Carrier was probably to a cup final with Nashville, was he not? There are some good mentors, but none of them won a cup. And Ryan O'Reilly not only won a cup, he was the best player in the playoffs that year. And the difference being from when he was with Toronto was that there are guys here that have been to the cup final too. I think it's a better group, and that he's more likely to rub off positively on this group than he did on the Leafs, where the culture was just not, there's a good culture here already in Montreal. And when you add a guy like O'Reilly to it, I think it would just blossom. You know what I'm saying? Not like in Montreal or in Toronto, where he wasn't going to turn things around in 2 months. The culture, you're right. And also, it's earlier in the year. You get O'Reilly now. It's not like you're getting him at the trade deadline and there's 15 games and then the playoffs. There's 60 games for him to rub off on this. It's such a good group, They're soaking it all in. They're eager to learn. And I think he would just be such a positive mentor for this group for 60 games before the playoffs. So, and that's one of the reasons why it would cost a little more right now to get him, because you're getting him for pretty much a whole season here, even before the playoffs. And that's valuable too. So, yes, an Engstrom and first round pick is fairly steep. And yes, there's a possibility that Montreal could miss the playoffs and it ends up being a decent pick, but I don't know. I think there's just too much talent here. When guys come back from injury, if you got O'Reilly, get the goaltending straightened out. This team's, that pick might end up being 25 on, right? So, trading a defenseman who at this point's probably 4 or 5 on your depth chart on one side of and a pick that could be after 20 for Conn Smythe winner that I think would just be the ideal piece. So I do that trade if Nashville's interested in it. Oh, already had that one. I was trying to think of a comparable for Swarovski. Fast hands, creative, smart, control the play, lacks skating speed and grittiness. Mike Ribeiro will be a lookalike. Swarovski's a fair bit bigger than Ribeiro, but there's some similarities in how they dangle, I'd say. Hopefully he ends up being grittier and better two-way player than Mikey Ribeiro was. Yeah, well, yeah, they have to get the goaltending straightened out, and I did address that. They're not going to wait forever. You know, if these guys don't get it straightened out, if they didn't have good goalies on the farm, I'd be more concerned about it. But they do. They can call up a goalie. If he doesn't work out, then you get a goalie. But they're not going to just sit back and let the season wither away, because especially if they trade, they make a trade for O'Reilly, then they're all in, right? They're going for it. They're not going to just say, oh no, we're going to play Montebo come hell or high water, right? Is McKenna still number one on your prospect list? Yes, he is. Yeah. You can't discount what he's done in the past, right? I mean, before, more than 200 points before he was 17 and a half years old in the WHL. 10 goals, 10 assists as an underage at the U18s. Just spectacular, right? And now he's tied for 14th in scoring as a freshman in college. And you watch, before the end of the year, I bet you he's top 5. He's just adapting to college now. He'll be top 10 scoring, I'm sure, in college for the end of the year. And looking forward to seeing how he looks at the World Juniors, because I bet you he puts on a show there too. Yeah, he's too talented to. It's not as big a gap as we would have said a year ago, probably. Stenberg's, a really good prospect too. Verhoff, Carroll's, Belkits, although he didn't look great last night, but yeah, it's hard to at this point. It's hard to. Nobody supplanted him, but if he struggles at the World Juniors and Stenberg's great, and Stenberg keeps playing great in Swedish Junior, and McKenna struggles, then he probably won't go first overall, but it's going to have to take quite a performance by somebody else to supplant him. Bolduc would be a perfect fit with O'Reilly. Yeah, well, Doc, Bolduc, and O'Reilly, third line. Newhook back with the Newhook back with Cappy and Demidov. Slav back with on the top line. That's a hell of a top 9. And that's how you win. That's how you win playoff series, when you've got 9, like 3 lines that are that good, that potentially good, and then you've got the vets on the 4th line. Yeah, That's a nice looking group when everybody's back healthy, isn't it? Definitely. All right. We'll go a few more minutes here. We hit the 1,000 mark. I like to always hit. Once I hit 1,000, I'm happy. we hit 1,000 and I've been at it an hour and a half. A couple more questions here, comments, and we'll wrap it up. Jarosky skating he's just, it's more a question of him having to, he's going to be a better skater than Ribeiro. He's 6'2" and 175 pounds, right? He's just got to get stronger. And once he does, the skating stride's good. It's just a matter of strength with him, I believe, and his skating will be quite good. It's funny when you, well, good enough at least, the going into the draft, that was kind of my question mark, was the skating a little bit. But the Habs, when they did if you saw the draft show, they're talking, some of these scouts talking about his skating was like one of his main assets, and I found that interesting. I mean, he's shifty, right? He's agile on his skates. He's smooth, but it lacks some explosiveness, and I do think that's more a question of him just needing to fill out. And that's 2 or 3 years from now, I don't foresee his skating being an issue. Mark, you finally showed up, my friend. Sorry I'm late to the party. Yeah, well, don't think I'm going to stay too much longer here. Sorry about that. I feel bad now, Mark. Mark's a regular, and he didn't make it out till hour and a half in almost before he got here. Thrawn, I see a trade happening closer to the trade deadline than December due to the parity in the league. Yeah, unless it's Nashville, and all signs are pointing that Nashville's looking now. Yeah, if they don't make a trade with Nashville, then it'll be closer to the trade deadline. But I have a feeling where there's smoke, there's fire when it comes to that. Nashville and Montreal have traded before, and I think you see that that's a commonality in the NHL where teams will make multiple trades with each because you're comfortable, right? Last year, Carrier got traded from Nashville, and I wouldn't doubt it that they make another deal, because it seems to happen that way where GMs make multiple deals with each other. I heard the Preds want a first and an A draft pick. Yeah. Well, we've talked about this most of the show, Mark, and I'm on record saying that, first and Engstrom, I would do that. I would do that trade for O'Reilly, because I think that their window to win it's open right now. The East is wide open, and I mean, you look at the standings and you can't disagree with that, right? With Barkov out, I think East is up for grabs. Francis Dig. Hey. Well, hey. We've got a Gingras, we've got a Dig, we've got a Lachance. There used to be a Lachance that played for the Habs. Scott. Mark says hit like and subscribe. Yes, please do that. Hit the like button, subscribe. All good. Jacques Lachance, I hope Hughes agrees with you too. Yeah, well, hey, you don't have to go out of your way to agree with me tonight, Pierre. I wonder if Nashville is happy about the Carrier-Barron trade and if Barron is doing well. I haven't really watched Nashville, obviously. Yeah, thanks for I was thinking Josh. No, not Josh. Justin Barron. Yeah. Well, yeah, that there's a thing. There's a good example like Barron, young guy, right? And it typically takes a defenseman, a lot of defensemen not before the age of 25, really before they're comfortable playing in the NHL, and Barron, I heard that they're happy with him. They haven't minded him at all, and not related. Yeah. Well, Jacques kind of gave it away, right? I kind of figured that you weren't related to Scott LaChance. And Francis, you're not related to Alexandre either, right? He didn't wear number 77. When O'Reilly, Jonathan Richard, thanks, Jonathan. When O'Reilly left Toronto, he said he wanted to go to market with less pressure. Do you think he would accept to come to Montreal? Yeah. That's a good point. Maybe he doesn't want to go back into the pressure cooker, but it was also a way to explain why Toronto was even more so, especially when you're from, Southern Ontario, and it the pressure wasn't just from the media and fans there, but from family and friends, right? Because you couldn't escape it being in Toronto, being from Southern Ontario, right? Montreal, different story for him in that regard, right? So I don't know. I don't think he'd have a problem with, especially. I think he'd be excited about playing with this young group. I don't think there's too many veterans that would pass up the opportunity to play with the Montreal Canadiens right now, because I mean, everyone, there's no secret around the league that they're up and coming team and exciting. And Michael Whalen just saying, his puck retrieval skills have improved greatly this year. Yeah, from what I've, the little that I have seen of him and what I've heard through the grapevine, they're happy with him, with the improvements he's made. And just another example of that, you got to be patient with young defensemen. Even Xhekaj, right? It's still a possibility that he can improve his game. We're getting up to 8:40 here, close to playing time. So have we heard what the lines will be? I'm presuming that Engstrom's going to play with Carrier. Is that I haven't heard, but that's a fair assumption, I think. Francois makes a good point. Carey himself actually started being regular at 25. There's lots of examples of guys that didn't become regulars in the NHL till after they were 25. Guy like Matheson, I mean, he didn't bloom really till after he was 25. He had one good year, Florida, and then it was, growing pains, and then boom again. Jeff Petrie, much like Matheson, really didn't hit a stride till late 20s. Best years were like 28 to 33, right? And the same thing is turning out with Matheson. Late 20s and then into his 30s, best years. Matheson, you could almost say, is still improving as a defenseman. And yet another reason why, I hope they re-sign him, because he's got another 4 or 5 really good years left in the tank with his skating, with his mobility. I really think he can be he can be an impactful defenseman for several more years yet in this league. Jonathan Richard, Toronto was probably worse with all that loss in the first round before. Yeah, I did bring that up earlier. There's a huge difference being in Toronto and Montreal media-wise. On top of it all, our team's actually good there as well. Yeah. No, exactly. But I also think you know, part of it was this family and friends all being there and the pressure of that too, right? It's different. It's different. Montreal, it'll be different for him. And as Jacques mentions here, maybe he's changed his mind since, right? That's a good point too. Hadn't heard from Samurai Knight, but got an early night tonight due to work tomorrow. Wishing the Habs and everyone a great night. Go Habs, go. Okay, thanks for chiming in. Always a pleasure having you on board, Samurai Knight. One of my regulars and a supporter too. Thanks. Didn't know if you were here or not. Wasn't hearing too much from you. Nashville wants to compete hard with Calgary for last place. Sooner you unload, the better the odds. There's a good point too, right? Get rid of O'Reilly now. Tank. Yeah, no, they're not making the playoffs. There aren't many out of it right now, but Nashville, it's safe to say, isn't going to make it. So, pick up a young player like Engstrom who would help you some this year, but he's not going to, he's not in the same league as Ryan O'Reilly as far as helping a team right now. And pick up another draft pick, build for the future, keep building. They're 2-3 years away, and go for the McKenna or whoever, Stenberg. Try to land the big fish in the draft this year. They need a star there, and the only way they're going to get that is by tanking. So that's a good point that I failed to bring up earlier. Cannot panic with goalie. He's not Skinner. Well, there's two goalies, right? Hopefully Dobish goes back on a run here. It was only just a blip, and he gets back on track. If Dobie does, then we're laughing, right? Kevin Matthews is a new Turgeon Tin Man. Yeah, maybe. I guess you're talking about Pierre Turgeon too, right? Not Sylvain. We'll see. I'm not the biggest Matthews fan. Different team, different cultures. I've heard a lot of great about Montreal for years. Not much good about Toronto for a few years. Yeah. No, I don't think it's, I don't think things apply the same. And I mean, half the media, he couldn't understand what they're saying anyways, right? And I don't think he's bilingual, so it's not like he'd be reading and hearing all of the French media comments on him. So it's really, not quite the same for an English Southern Ontario boy. Jacques, Nashville would have to keep Engstrom with the big team either. Wouldn't have to keep but I bet you they would. Engstrom's ready to play in the NHL. Like, he's NHL caliber, I think. It's just not a lot of spots right now on Montreal's blue line. It's a pleasant problem to have. All right, folks. I think I got caught up here. We hit 1,000 on I don't know if I'm going to do intermissions tonight or not. Didn't seem like there was a lot of call for it. I'd have to make up. I only got a few minutes. I'll have to make up a couple flyers if I do. So I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to bid you all adieu, and go Habs, go. Let's hope they win it. If Kapanen scores 3 goals, I'll do a post-game show. If he scores 2 in the first period, I'll do a first intermission. What else? Well, that's it. Okay. GMG. Well, we laugh at Toronto. I still feel they were more unlucky than losers. It's a nice narrative to say so, but hockey is a sport of inches. Yeah, well, they almost beat Florida, didn't they? Yeah, for sure. All right, folks, I got to go. Go Habs, go. Thanks for tuning in. And you know what? I think I'll probably do an intermission. Are you guys going to show up or what? Toronto looks like they are missing the window. Yeah. Yeah, I might come on in the intermission. Sound good? All right, folks. Bye for now.